Recently, we saw Elevation Capital lead an $11 million funding into a startup called AppsForBharat. What does AppsForBharat do? It creates devotional content. How hot is this space? Has it been accelerated by COVID-19? One would imagine it definitely has been. We've been talking about how pujas have shifted to the online world. But $11 million for a startup in the devotional business for creating content for that? I'm going to be joined by the person who decided to write that big fat check, Mayank, the managing director and partner of Elevation Capital, as well as the founder of that very startup, Prashant Sachan, the founder for AppsForBharat. Gentlemen, welcome to StartUp Central. We wanted to put the spotlight on devotional content, how big this is, the kind of market it's turning out to be. So Mayank, I'll come to you first. I'm sure you have all your Excel sheets ready with what you guys call to be TAM, the targetable addressable market. That is, how big is it?
I guess it's a very big market. Look around everywhere and look at all your relatives. I think in every good time and bad time, everybody wants to go bow their head in front of the Almighty God or some higher power, right? It's all around us. We did some estimation of the market, like you said, on spreadsheets. I think the market is huge. It's anywhere between $30 to $40 billion of spending that happens in India every year on devotion, on spirituality, on religion. And it's a huge market, and interestingly, all of this spend is still just offline. You look at any of the large, big spend categories that a normal person goes through, whether it is food or apparel, electronics, everything is moving online. But devotion and spend on devotion continues to be offline. It's just such a big dichotomy, and it was just very obvious to us that given a right product, this spend will also move online with time.
Okay, that's a huge market, $30 to $40 billion. Suddenly that $11 million funding for AppsForBharat, that doesn't seem as over the top. But if I can now come to you, Prashant, can I ask you, your startup, when it is creating a channel for devotion, for spirituality, why do you need big bucks in a time when, people can log in for free on Zoom, when they can view content for free on YouTube?
So I think the reason why we started this company was, so there are certain needs of people if you look at it, right? So when we say devotional and spiritual needs of people, there are many things that people do to meet those needs, meet those desires. And of course, you can go to a YouTube, you can go read up things on a site, but all of this information is scattered. That's one part. The other part is that if you go on a Play Store and look for apps that serve these needs, you will realize that such products are either badly made. It's a single dev shop that has made these kind of apps and so on. So that's where you realize that you need to put your heart and soul into building these apps for people, understand their needs well, and create a product or craft a product that fits their needs well. And for the same reason, right, what essentially I'm doing, we realized that there is this large need that needs to be served using a good product. And for making a good product, you would obviously need a great team, bunch of techies, designers, product managers to come together and build this. So essentially the need gap that we realized in this particular market was a team whose intent is right, who are trying to build a right product for these users. What I'm doing right now is I'm just assembling the right kind of people who would want to solve for this particular need. And for that, you would need some capital to start a business with. And for the same reason, we have some good backers like Elevation to help us on this journey.
Okay, and Mayank, what about AppsForBharat, appealed to you?
See, I think there are platforms that provide just video content. For example, on YouTube, one of the top devotional video has like 2 billion views. But that's just static content. That's just one time. That's just out there, just a video for people to keep playing again and again. But when you think about from the product point of view and the needs of these users, it goes beyond just video plays. People want to actually donate online. People want to talk to other users who are following maybe similar belief. And when we spoke to Prashant, I think the first principles thinking that this team had really struck a chord with us. They had actually done a lot of good amount of work to go and talk to these users and figure out what all is needed in the product. And that actually started showing in very early days of the product itself. We spoke to maybe 50, 60 users of the product, and all of them were extremely, extremely satisfied. The rating was like 9.5 on 10 when we spoke to these users. They were spending close to 40, 50 minutes easily a day. And they were using the product for not just for listening to devotional music, but actually creating their own digital shrines, donating, getting some of their friends onto the platform to start following with them, having a conversation around devotional topics on this product itself. So I think the depth of thinking of the team and how the use cases were panning out with its users was super, super exciting for us. And that's why we decided to partner with Prashant.
Now, when you talk about devotional content and interactions, that can be global as well. Just look at the large base of NRIs that we have.
Sure, absolutely. And absolutely. I think that's why this business is called AppsForBharat. And the first product is Sri Mandir, but there will be a plethora of products that will come out that will appeal to different faiths, different religions, different geographies. It could be NRIs who want to connect with, let's say, a local shrine in their hometown, because that is what they believe in. They just don't believe in one God, but believe in the power of that one shrine. So we'll help make that connect. We could also go and launch products for different religions globally as well. For example, during this COVID lockdown, we heard about Pope delivering a sermon which was watched by millions and millions of people the world over, right? I'm sure that that group of people also need a product to serve them. There is nothing that is stopping us from going global and building products for different faiths, different religions to serve their needs.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you can, of course, do it across faiths. I think that's the point you're trying to make. Mayank, the other big business opportunity, I should rephrase that and be sensitive, is, you know, when we all go for pilgrimages, when the temples also collect so much money, a lot is also talked about that aspect. Can that be monetized at all? Can that be targeted at all?
Sure. Actually, so donations to physical temples that we are talking about, right? So that is a very large spend pool. That is a very large amount of money that is flowing from devotees' pockets to these shrines. Yes, we could become a via media over there. We'll obviously have to build relationships with these shrines and also offer that as a service to the devotees. There are like in any business that goes from online to offline, there are a few operational things that we would need to solve for. But absolutely, that is definitely one of the areas that we want to target, bring transparency, and bring that sort of accountability also in that chain.
I think I'll just step in here, Nayantara. So if you see, right, the biggest problem that we have to solve for right now is trust. You know, there are so many apps. If you just go on Play Store and put a keyword there, you will find hundreds of the apps that are there. Most of them take a user for a ride. They don't really serve them. The idea is that can you build a product that is for masses and you solve for trust? They believe in what you have built. They believe in the brand, and that's the first problem to solve. I think monetization comes easy if you have trust, if you have a community that you have built, right? So I think one of the opportunities could be that, but I think the first thing that we have to focus on, and me and Mayank keep on discussing this, right, which is the trust part and the community part is the most important part that we are solving for. And with that, given this is a need for hundreds of millions of people every single day, there are beautiful opportunities that will open up, and we will see it as time passes, we'll keep on solving for those as well.
And just to understand a few things, Prashant, you know, normally, you know, we begin our mornings with prayers. We're supposed to end the day with that, but you have a product. Have you noticed, at least in India, is there a certain time band when you see more people logging in, or is it, you know, uniform through the day?
No. So ours is so when we build the first product, we very clearly knew what we are building for. So our usage starts at as early as 4:30 in the morning. It peaks at around 7:30, and then we see another peak in the evening. But that's the first peak that we see. So essentially, for many people, they start their day with our product. So and then there are needs which are spread out. So for example, we see some usage in the afternoon and another short of usage in the evenings as well. But the biggest usage that we see is in the morning. So people start their day with our product. This is how we have positioned it for them.
And Mayank, how can this space be monetized? Because again, you come back to that, right? It's something that all of you are struggling with, whether it is to go beyond the current user base that everyone is targeting to monetize on the internet. But with just so much out there which is free, the very fact that in the post-COVID world, you can also go to the shrines, the temples, the mosques, the churches.
Sure. I think this product is a product that potentially could be useful for maybe 200 or 300 million users in India very easily. And once you have that size of a user base, there are many monetization opportunities that open up. And I can give you a few examples. Obviously, advertising is one big bucket, but that's very obvious. We can keep that aside. But then there is microtransactions. So for example, you have a digital shrine that you have set up and you want to basically put a few flowers every day. Now, those flowers can just be a small amount of money that maybe we don't keep, we keep only a part of it, but it actually goes to a temple. Where else do you spend in the offline world? You actually go to these congregations where there are these gurus who are basically giving out sermons. Now, when you go there, there is no attendance fee, but you donate money over there. That's also microtransaction. Can we actually create a very similar experience here where there is a seer or a guru that you follow who's giving out a sermon here, you come here and you make that donation for the ashram of that guru. So I think these microtransactions, I believe, are going to be a larger bulk of the revenue potential of something like AppsForBharat rather than advertising. And I think there is this underground story going on in the content business in India where microtransactions have really picked up. For example, on ShareChat, 40-50% of the revenue now comes from microtransactions. It's a very real monetization path, almost undiscovered by the tier 1 audience, but tier 2 and 3 audience is becoming very comfortable with these packet-sized payments.
May I back that up with an example? What could be a microtransaction on a platform like Bharat for App or other apps and other tech that might come up for devotion and spirituality?
Sure. Okay. So let's talk about that sermon that we were talking about, right? Imagine this is like a virtual chat room that we are in, right? Everybody can attend that chat room, but if you want to ask a question to the seer, you end up even in the offline world making a donation. You make that donation, you get a chance to come up on stage and ask that question. And it could be a question that is very personal to you, or it could be a question that is applicable to everybody in the audience. That is a microtransaction. Maybe just a 50 rupee donation gets you to ask that question.
Okay. So let's see how all of this progresses. It seems to be the new space that has been created. Incidentally, if any of you are on Clubhouse, you can go on Clubhouse also and see in how many languages there are rooms that are being opened up every other day for devotion and spirituality. It was something I was experimenting with before this interview. So clearly a new hot space has been identified by Elevation and it's putting where its belief is, but with a check for AppsForBharat. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nayantara.